All right, Shalom. First, let's start by saying all praise to Yahweh by Shema Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that student of truth and sincerity. Now, this is just an update on what's going on in Syria with this whole migration thing and this war. And a lot of people are migrating to America, but then Trump started coming down on them about being in America. So a lot of them are migrating to Canada. But I'm on the show is what's going on with them being in these caves, and what's going on with them in general. So I got a couple videos, but before I bring out the videos, I'm gonna go ahead and grab these scriptures real quick. This is Luke chapter 21, verse 25. It says, "And there shall be signs in the sun," and we had that the solar eclipse that happened in August. I think it was August 21st. Yep, August 21st, 2017. We had that, and then after that, everything started to ramp up, man. A lot of this war stuff started to really kick off after that, man. It says, "And in the moon," and we just had the sign of the moon, the blood moon, and it was mixed with they called it a super moon or a blue moon, and it was something else that happened. I forgot, but the red moon is the blood moon is the sign in the moon. You got that in Revelations. Slakia. The so-called blue moon is made up. Esau then changed the times and seasons, like it said in Daniel. Came up with their own calendar, stretched out the months. We got 2 extra months. They ran it off. Esau changed it from we got the they made the Gregorian calendar and the I forgot the other calendar name, Slacky. But yeah, Esau didn't change the times and everything, man. That's why that whole blue moon thing, that ain't nothing real. That was all made up by Esau, man. Usually when you see signs like that, that's usually the beginning of a month or a Sabbath day, or the Lord just have it as being a sign, But this is this is Revelation chapter 6. Verse 12, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, right? Going back to the solar eclipse, and the moon became his blood, right? So that's your blood moon. But this is back in Luke chapter 21, verse 25. "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations." And that's what's going on in Syria, man. There's distress of nations, man. It says with perplexity, right? There's problem after problem. When they try to fix one problem, they got more problems. It says the sea and the waves roaring, right? So I'm going to go on. Oh, wait, no. I got 2 more scriptures, Slakia. Rush. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before," and you measure the time by watching the news, keeping up with the prophecies, man. That's how I knew through the Spirit of Yahweh Shai from the apostles on down that this is prophecy, because they gave us the information, the blood moon, the signs, and all that is prophecies, man. It says, "Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." And that's what you see going on in Syria. The Lord fucking them up, man. A lot of them are Arabs, some of them maybe Elam, and some of them Israelites. And whatever nation they might be, because all the nations are mixed, man. But as far as the heathens go, them heathens had a hand in taking us out of our power, or putting us in captivity in 1 year or the next, and keeping us down there, man. And as far as Israel go, Israel want to be everything but Israelites. So But it says, and when thou seest parts of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that at the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and we see that going on also, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, right? Prophecy. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Right, so we are at the end, and this is the end being manifest. All this chaos and perplexity going on in the world, man, with all the nations. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 50. It says, for many great misery shall be done to the people, done to them that in the later time shall dwell in the world. These Syrians have to live in caves. The next one that I show, the video that I show, the lady got her legs blew off because I think her school got hit with a missile. You know, a lot of these people homes got hit with missiles. Some of them survived, some of them didn't. Some of them survived and got limbs missing. That's what they get, man. They had a hand in our captivity, man. It says, because they have walked in great pride. Right. So, a lot of these, people, especially Israelites, want to be of this world, man. Want to be homosexuals, lesbians, all that. Just like up in these other countries and these other nations and stuff. A lot of them want to take part of the democracy that America's pushing out, man. It says, but understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. Right. So we're only seeking out for the elect, man. Only the elect don't understand this truth, man. These videos, to warn everybody and to, wake up and strengthen the elect's faith. So without further ado.
They're alive, but not much more. A hole in the ground is now home for these Syrians who've been displaced by the war.
What kind of life is this? Can this really be called living? To live in a cave?
Faras's family took refuge here a year ago. Their house in the city of Hama was flattened by one of the government's military jets. Their few belongings make the damp and dim grotto somewhat tolerable. There are many caves scattered in the countryside of Idlib in northwestern Syria. At first, they were used as temporary bomb shelters, but now they've become permanent residence for some of the 5 million people displaced within Syria.
We've been taking shelter in this cave for a year. I'm responsible for 7 people, and I'm just a widow. You can see what it's like.
Fighting insects and illnesses in the humid conditions are some of the challenges. But above all is the challenge of finding enough food to eat. And holed up in the darkness, these little ones read books from a school they can no longer attend. With the war pushing them underground, some Syrian refugees are left living in what seems like the prehistoric past. Al Jazeera.
And she better not break them steps. So yeah, the Lord got them going through all types of hell, man. Here's the next one.
Year ago, Naran's husband Hazem. Naran Alwan is a 25-year-old teacher from Idlib. She lost both her legs during a government airstrike on her school almost a year ago. Naran's husband Hazem says she almost died. They came to Istanbul hoping Naran will be able to walk again with prosthetic legs. She's been treated for 7 months at this clinic specifically established for victims of the Syrian war. Nagan is tired. She's been through a lot, but she has one wish for the new year.
I hope the bloodshed ends in my country. Then we can go back home and be victorious.
Her husband Hazem agrees. He had to quit his work to take care of his wife. He is depressed and homesick.
We will be going back home, of course. That's if my wife gets better physically. Our families are back there. Words can't describe this longing. All Syrians and Muslims wish the killings and airstrikes in Syria to end.
Syrians who escaped the war try to cling on to some sort of a normal life at this market. Mahir is from Damascus. He has been doing the same business, selling mobile accessories in Istanbul for 2 years. He complains that he has to pay a lot for rent, workers and tax, but he says he can't go back to his country.
We hope the peace settled on Syria and people rest all Syrians. I hope they accept us as new people or new home.
27-year-old Mohammed left Syria 2 years ago. He says he has no family here.
It is good to live here in Turkey. Everything is stable for us. But when the situation gets better in Syria, I will go back, of course. I'm alone here. I believe everyone lives more comfortably in his or her own country.
All they wish is for peace and unity in the new year. There is a little bit of Damascus in this neighborhood of Istanbul. Some Syrians own shops here, while others work or look for jobs. But what they all have in common is the desire to either go back to Syria or make Turkey home. Sinem Köseoğlu, Al Jazeera, Istanbul.
All right. Here's another one.
Can't survive. Heavy winds, snow, lower temperatures. Lebanon is being hit by a storm, making the lives of the nearly 1 million Syrian refugees even more miserable. They face many challenges during the winter months, among them the lack of proper shelter. They live in tents that are made from plastic sheeting, which does little to protect from the cold and the rain.
We couldn't sleep all night. The tent was flooded. We stayed up and moved all our belongings outside. The conditions of our tents are bad.
It's the Shabli family's 7th winter in displacement since fleeing the conflict in neighboring Syria. In winter, the refugees require more help. They need fuel for heating, thermal blankets, and warm clothes.
We are dead. We are living in misery. We have nothing but pain, sickness, and suffering. We are deprived of everything.
Families like the Abdul Hamads can't survive without assistance. Ahmed, the father, is half blind. The youngest child, Sabrine, is mentally challenged. The eldest has heart disease, and their mother suffers from asthma and eczema.
I need medicine and I need help. We all cannot work. We don't have wood and fuel to keep warm. We're living only by God's mercy. I may be kicked out of this tent soon because I didn't pay the rent for a long time.
The United Nations does provide some assistance, but a shortfall in funding means not everyone is reached.
The United Nations doesn't just help the more than 5 million Syrian refugees in neighboring countries. It says 13 million people need help in Syria. 6 million of them are internally displaced. And the displacement continues. In recent weeks, more than 200,000 people were forced to leave their homes. The war is not over.
It may be a while before these refugees can go home. The Lebanese government doesn't want them to stay. That is why it has prevented the United Nations from building permanent camps. It also doesn't allow any concrete construction. But this may not be their last harsh winter in exile. Zana Khuder, Al Jazeera, Bekaa Valley, Lebanon.
Yeah, some Lord fucking their ass up, man. A lot of these people getting raped. And a lot of these women getting raped out there as they migrate and shit, you know. So they going through hell. Let's see if there's one more. You even got our people migrating. That's illegal over here in the U.S. So, but that's for another day. But yeah, that's it for the lesson. All praise to Yahweh by Shemel Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well. And salutations to the brothers that stood in truth and sincerity. Shalom.